Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. My name is Rebecca from the MicroCAD marketing team, and today's presentation is going to be about all the BIM changes and what they are and how they will affect you or will not affect you. So if you have any questions during this, please go ahead and ask them in the questions section. That should be to your right, and we will answer all of those questions at the end. Once Phil has shown us everything. But I will go ahead and send it over to Phil Marshall so he can get started.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone to our webinar on Autodesk's new unified platform for its cloud offerings. I've got quite a few things to talk about the new products, how they work, and how they would work for those who are already using other Autodesk products. So let me go into that presentation, and while I'm doing the presentation, to give you a bit more screen space, I'm going to turn off my camera, and we'll turn it back on again a little bit later at the end of the presentation. Also gave me the opportunity to put on my headset so you can get a better quality audio. All right, so what I wanted to talk about today, like I said, was the new Autodesk Cloud Services. This webinar that we're doing this afternoon is one of a series offered by MicroCAD on improving your productivity and effectivity to increase both your revenue and your margin. We present a variety of software tools to streamline your process and enable your designers to work faster, better. As a company, MicroCAD empowers design professionals in the construction and manufacturing industries to increase productivity and meet project goals. With 30 years of experience as a minority-owned business, we pride ourselves on working with clients one by one through every stage of the design process to assess needs and provide tailored and effective solutions. Today, we're focusing on the new cloud-based products from Autodesk that use the unified platform to share data. This webinar is intended to give you an understanding of what these products are and how they fit in the overall workflow, but it isn't expected to give you all the information you might need on them. So at the end, we'll give you some contact numbers and information you can use to get more complete data. In any case, a 25-minute webinar doesn't replace detailed training and hands-on experience, but at least it'll build a foundation so you know what sort of questions to ask.
Oh, Phil, sorry. I think some people aren't able to see your screen, so I just want to check on that. Some people were having difficulty, so I just want to make sure it's being shared. All right, I think, yes, I think everyone can see it now. Thank you.
Thank you for straightening me out. It's amazing about this technology. When it works, it's great. Sometimes you need a little bit of help. And that's what we're doing today. We're giving you help on the new technology from Autodesk. One other point I wanted to make before we go into looking at those particular products is that the excitement of cloud services is that they can be updated and extended continuously. So we see that Autodesk is releasing on a regular basis updates and new functionalities and new capabilities in their cloud products. So this webinar will cover the capabilities as they exist today, but next week there might be brand new functionality. So we will repeat webinars on these cloud products and services in the future and expand them to cover all the new tools, because Autodesk is constantly coming up with new things that they are offering to the users. So these are the 5 new products Autodesk announced in Autodesk University in November. They're all connected with the Autodesk Construction Cloud. Today, we're focusing in on the design tools, Autodesk Docs, Autodesk BIM Collaboration Pro, and Autodesk BIM Collaborate. The other 2 products, Build and Takeoff, have more to do with the construction industries. So we'll be handling those as some other webinar. As you probably know, this is not Autodesk's first foray into cloud services. Since 2014, they have offered cloud-based data shared systems for the AEC industry, with BIM dominating the workflow. The first focus the Autodesk had was on the design data. And they recognized there was a need because building models were getting heavier and the ancillary data is becoming more digital. So Autodesk recognized that the volume and type of data was quickly expanding, as was the number of partners to work on the project at different times and for different durations. More and more, we saw that niche players were participating in the workflow, contributing their design expertise and then leaving the project. So Autodesk needed to come up with cloud solutions to provide for that vast amount of information shared with many, many different people at different locations. The cloud-based data sharing tools in Autodesk BIM 360 were necessary to meet these client needs for secure, productive design collaboration. BIM 360 works well in the data-heavy, high-interaction design process, and the usage was steadily increasing. Then COVID hit. Usage of remote access skyrocketed as designers and engineers worked from home. Autodesk responded with promotions to help these users become productive by using BIM 360. It seems like everybody was using BIM 360 to share design data. But Autodesk has always had this vision of connecting all the people on the project. Design users needed to have their tools talk to each other, and construction users needed to have all up-to-date information for their people. And building owners, construction managers, and owners reps all needed to stay current with the data. With Autodesk's first early product called Team, it was the Revit users that were connected. With BIM 360, it expanded to the entire design team, but it missed connecting to the construction group because they were on a different platform, the Autodesk Construction Cloud. This was an important gap because the huge benefits that could be gained by the integration of the data, but also more and more the lines between designers, construction administration, coordination, owner reps were blurring. Every organization was branching out to create new revenue streams, resulting in their involvement in more activities in the project. So designers were doing construction functions, and some construction people were involved in design functions. So now Autodesk has connected all the members of a team on a common data platform, the unified platform. Data can be shared seamlessly from conceptual design through construction to operation of the facility, and all the stakeholders can access information anywhere on any device. So let's get into the details of these new products. Remember, we're focusing on the first three. The other two are tools for the construction field. The key feature of these products is the ability to use the unified platform within Autodesk Construction Cloud. Currently, BIM 360 Docs and BIM 360 Design operate within the Autodesk BIM 360 platform. The new products, Docs, BIM Collaborate, and BIM Collaborate Pro, are able to work on the unified platform and also on the BIM 360 platform. So you have access to either of these platforms with the new products. Autodesk Docs is a document management product for all partners in the project. It controls versions in the cloud, so every user is guaranteed the most recent data. Users can set permissions to control who has access and what kind of access. It allows users to view, measure, and mark up models and drawings. It provides the capability to create and manage issues, assign them to individuals, and give a due date. What is significantly different with Autodesk Docs is that it allows bring your own subscription. What this means is that each organization's Autodesk Docs subscriptions could be used on anybody's projects once you are invited. This is a more predictable way of getting entitlements. BIM 360 Docs works differently. For BIM 360 Docs, whoever owned the data had to provide the BIM 360 Docs entitlements. Another major point that's different about Autodesk Docs is that this is included in the AEC collection. This means every Revit or AutoCAD user who have the AEC collection has access to cloud data sharing. Autodesk wants all of the software users to be able to work with cloud data. Autodesk Docs is not available outside of the collection. The interface for Autodesk Docs is fairly intuitive and similar to BIM 360 Docs. Files are organized by project and folders within the projects. For each Revit model, both the 3D and representation and sets of drawings are available. It's an intelligent model, so you can query the properties of an object in the model. Let's take a quick look at what that might look like. So here we are looking at a particular project. So we could have a number of different projects that we're involved with, but we're choosing one particular project. And within this project, we have a set of folders that we could use. And then within the folders, we can establish permissions of who has access to look at, to view, to edit, and work with these particular files. So if we grab one of these files, this is a Revit model. And as any Revit model, we certainly have the ability to do things like view, pan, zoom, orbit, have all of these abilities for sectioning. So we could look at the inside of the building, slice it, see what's going on right here. So even if it's a complex model, we have a lot of understanding of what's going on with that model. It is a Revit intelligent model. So if we pick an object, like I'll pick that particular floor, we can look at the properties of that floor and see that it's lightweight concrete on metal deck. We'd have the rebar information, and we'd have things like weights and center of gravities, the strength of the concrete, and whether or not it's been involved in an analysis. So we have all the information about that particular object. The second product I'd like to mention briefly is Autodesk BIM Collaborate, which is aimed at project participants who need to be involved in the review and approval process, but aren't authors. So these might be people like the design managers, the project leaders, maybe some client personnel, people who need to be aware of what's going on, but are not going to be the authors. This product includes all the features of Autodesk Docs, plus model coordination and design collaboration. Model coordination allows users to find and manage interferences. Design collaboration lets users participate in review workflows, see the design packages released by the various teams, and review the history of the design releases. It's not intended for the engineers and designers who are authoring models. So let's take a quick look what that might look like. So here is a project that has many teams involved with it. Just like most BIM projects, the work is done by different teams. It could be these teams represent different groups within your own company if you were a design build organization, or it could be these teams represent individual companies that are participating in the project. Each of these teams has a swim lane timeline that represents the packages, design packages that they've released. So in this particular project, it looks like the architecture group has released all the packages. And so we could look at any of these packages and see what drawings, what documents are in that particular package and review them as necessary. All of the other teams, when they release their packages, we would see dots up on the timeline to show when these are released. So as a reviewer or a manager of the project, you would have the information about the status of the design collaboration. You can look at the documents and the models that are in each of these release packages, but you wouldn't have the ability to change them. You would have the ability to redline, mark up, create issues, but you wouldn't have the ability to change the model itself. So that was Autodesk BIM Collaborate tool. The third tool I wanted to talk about is the Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. And this is intended for authors. This is the tool that replaces BIM 360 design. It serves the engineers and designers who are actually creating or authoring the models. All of the features of Autodesk Docs and Autodesk BIM Collaborate are included. It has tight integrations with Revit, Civil 3D, and Plant 3D, so the users can stay within the authoring application and get the benefits of cloud data management without having to jump from app to app. What's new here is that Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro includes model coordination. So the authoring Revit user can use this tool to find and manage interferences between the cloud models. I've got a short video we can take a look at here. Here we go. So the idea with model coordination is you bring the different discipline models together, specify the models that you want to bring together as a single consolidated model. And then in that single consolidated model, we can do interference checking between any two models already in there. So we might do steel against piping, or we could do structure against MEP. We can create views and save those views so it's easier for people to review the model and the interferences, if there are any, easily after the fact. You can look at interferences between any of these models because you have many different models here for the different disciplines. And for each of the interferences it finds, it allows you to zoom into that particular interference, find the objects that are interfering, the amount of the interference, and allows you to create an issue. So if there is something that needs to be remedied, you can create an issue, detail out what the problem is, although in this case it's pretty obvious, specify who you're expecting to remedy the problem, and give them a due date for the remedy. All of these issues are maintained in the database, so you have a history and the audit trail to see what issues were created and how were they solved. And now with the Autodesk issues in Revit plugin that all the Revit users should have, in Revit they would see these issues also, and gives you the ability to manage those issues from Revit without having to go into another application. So model coordination gives you the ability to find those interferences, manage the interferences, and share them with the authors. Right now you can have, within Revit, you can see those issues, and they would be identified as coordination issues with this interference. So you can look at just the coordination problems, issues in Revit if you wanted to. So let's talk about existing users, because looking at the people who registered, it appears that quite a few of you are existing users of Autodesk Cloud tools. So if right now you have AEC collection licenses, then what happens is Autodesk will add the entitlement to Autodesk Docs to your license. In fact, they've already done that. Effectively last Tuesday, Autodesk has gone through and modified the entitlements for all users. So if you had the AEC collection, now you have an entitlement for Autodesk Docs in your account management area. These Autodesk Docs tools can be used on any project that you've been invited to, whether on the BIM 360 or the unified platform. If you have BIM 360 Docs and you're using that, then you can continue to use it on BIM 360 projects with no change. So all of the functions and capabilities that you already are used to in BIM 360 Docs will just continue on any project that you've been invited to. If you have BIM 360 Design, then it will be converted to Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. So effective last Tuesday, a couple of days ago, now you should be able to have access to the model coordinate capability within BIM 360. And if you have a BIM 360 coordinate license, then you can continue to use it on BIM 360 projects with no change, work it exactly the same way that you're working with it now. When it comes time for renewal, then you could renew it to Autodesk BIM Collaborate, or you could upgrade it to BIM Collaborate Pro. As I said, these products work with either the BIM 360 or the unified platform. The account management module is a single place to see both kinds of projects for your account. You have all of the project management tools for either kind of project, and once you're familiar with how to use it for one platform, it works very much the same way for either platform. If you have existing projects on the BIM 360 platform, we strongly suggest that you stay on that platform. At this time, there's no migration tool from BIM 360 to the unified platform. If you're starting a new project, you could use either platform. And the choice will probably be affected by how many of the Autodesk Design Cloud tools you're using now. Certainly, if you're doing a lot of the construction tools, then you would want to move new projects to the unified platform as soon as possible. So how do you get started? As I said before, existing users are already started. Beginning last Tuesday, Autodesk has updated your entitlements, and the cloud software that you use has been upgraded. So when you logged into your BIM 360 tools beginning last Tuesday, you saw a slightly different interface, a slightly different screen layout, although everything else is pretty straightforward, and then you shouldn't have needed any help in getting on it. So that has already been in place. You can use the existing projects like you were working on before. New users, when they have their software and their entitlements, get hubs in the cloud, either on the BIM 360 or the unified platform, or both. So once you have your new software set up, the new projects could be created on either platform. In either situation, MicroCAD can provide training and handholding to enhance your use of the software and maximize your benefits. For new customers, we recommend a 4-hour setup and training session just to make sure that you're using your hub the way that's going to be best benefit for your particular situation. If you're a design house, it may be configured one particular way. If you're a design build house, it might be configured a different way. So the idea is we'd want to provide the support and handholding to make sure that you're getting what you're trying to get out of the software. Before I catch up on the questions, let me mention that MicroCAD will repeat these webinars, especially because of the interest, because of the cloud services. And we'll be offering many more webinars. So I'd like you to take the opportunity while you're online to tell us what topics would be most interesting to you. By entering them into the question box, we'll take a note of it and come back with webinars to meet the need that you have out there. Okay, let's go on to the questions. Rebecca, you got anything?
Yes, we actually have questions coming in right now. So let's go ahead and start answering some of those. So the first one, can you just confirm if these are all just upgrades that are happening, or if any of this has, some sort of additional cost to the end user?
It's always the first question, isn't it? What's the money? The answer specifically to the first question is that all of the changes of the products that I just described that happened last Tuesday occurred with no cost whatsoever. So those people who have the AEC collection get an entitlement to the Autodesk Docs, no change in your cost. Those of you who had BIM 360 design get BIM Collaborate Pro, no change in the cost. So there's no cost involved in that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's take a look at the next one here. Okay, so it says several of our users own both AEC Collection and BIM 360 licenses with active projects. Can we now cancel our BIM 360 subscription, or is BIM 360 included in the new AEC Collection subscription?
So let me make it clear what's included and what's not included. In the AEC Collection, you're getting an entitlement to Autodesk Docs, not to the design collaboration part. So if right now you're using Revit and design collaboration to share data at the authoring level, you would need to continue having your BIM 360 design licenses, which got converted to BIM Collaborate Pro licenses. If all you were doing was sharing the data without any true collaboration, then for one thing, you're missing the value of the cloud, but you would not need the BIM 360 docs on renewal. Now, the Autodesk Docs and the BIM 360 docs are not the same software. They have different functionality. Right now, the functionality is very close, but I think you're going to see that they're going to diverge. They have different roadmaps. The BIM 360 docs is really targeted towards the design world. The Autodesk Docs is going to be targeted towards both the design and the construction world. So I wouldn't recommend anybody do anything hastily. I think you would need to take a look at the functionality that's in the products right now and the roadmaps of where they're going, and then see what fits for your particular situation. And for all of you out there, if you have some concerns or questions, or does this make sense, certainly contact us and we can work with you one-on-one to look at your situation and see what's going to be the best fit for you.
Thank you. Okay. The next one, is there a way to give access to docs to collaborators who do not have software licenses?
Yeah, so with BIM 360 docs, whoever owns the data basically would be the one providing the license. So that would absolutely be that you would provide the data, the license, so they don't need to do anything. In the case of Autodesk Docs, you can set it up so that someone could statically access documents. So what would happen would be that you would create a package, a drawing package on Friday. You would have someone who has no connection with Autodesk. They could then access those documents as they were published on Friday, and then do whatever work they need to do. The problem is, of course, that they're not part of the dynamic workflow. They wouldn't be able to see any changes or participate in review processes. So typically you would want people to have the equivalent license in order to participate in the workflow.
Okay, so we have another question here asking if there's a cost associated with MicroCAD helping use these softwares. So I know that, if you guys are looking for more of the technical support, we do offer support packages. So, you could submit a request to us if you're having issues with that. But if you're looking, I know, more for training, that is something separate. So I don't know if there's any more you have to add for that, Phil, with just helping with the software and maybe with the changes.
Yeah, we certainly want everyone to be successful. So if someone's having problems in making the transition from their current software to the new software, then we're more than willing to help out, as long as it doesn't get into a training situation. If it's training, then certainly we're going to look to be paid. But the hand holding and making sure a transition occurs, that's something we'll work with you on.
All right, so I think there's a question here to clarify. If someone has 50 seats for AEC Collection and 12 BIM 360 design seats, does that mean that those 50 people on AEC Collection now also have a BIM seat?
So again, AEC Collection includes Autodesk Docs. It doesn't have anything to do with, it looks like BIM 360 design. So after Tuesday, what that organization would have would be 50 AEC collections. They'd have in the collection, they'd have 50 seats of Autodesk Docs, and they'd have however many BIM 360 design seats they had before. Those will be converted to BIM Collaboration Pro. So the BIM Collaboration Pro would do exactly the same thing that you're doing now with BIM 360 design, plus you get model coordination.
Okay, and actually speaking of the model coordination, does that replace the BIM track?
The model coordination, by being included in the Collaboration Pro and the Collaboration products, means that the product that used to be called BIM 360 Coordinate is now being replaced by those other tools. So that's why I was saying before, those users of BIM 360 Coordinate, when it comes time for renewal, you will be renewed at no change in cost to BIM Collaborate. Autodesk BIM Collaborate. So you'd actually get more functionality when renewal time comes.
Okay, perfect. And we do have another one coming in asking if there's a limit on cloud storage.
Yeah, that's one of the things that always surprises me as a reseller when we work with Autodesk. At some point you think that they're going to put a charge on because it's costing them to have all the storage. No, there isn't a charge. They're telling us that they have no plans in the future to charge for the data. So all that gigabytes or terabytes of data out there that Autodesk is managing, it's all for free. So there are no limits, there's no charges. We don't anticipate that there's going to be any in the near future. So let's take advantage of it.
Perfect. All right, I think that's it. I think some of the other questions were already clarified with your responses about AEC collection having Autodesk Docs. You said so it does not have the BIM Docs on it. But if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to throw them in. We do have a little bit more time to help you guys out here. And I don't know if Phil, you wanted to expand a little more on kind of the question of, if this is new and what kind of training would users need for this?
So someone who is not now using BIM 360 Design, what we do is we offer basically a 4-hour course to make sure you get set up successfully to configure your environment for whatever it is that you're going to be using it for, because every organization might be a little different. Certainly a design house versus a design build house would use it differently. And then to do the actual end user training. And we typically do that about 4 hours. That could be done remote. It could be done in-house, whatever's your convenience. But the idea is we really want people to get a good first step on this project, because if you pick up the products and try and play with it and say, well, I think this is the way it should work, and then you're on the real world project, all of a sudden deadlines are going to be up to you and you're going to be stuck. What you really want to do is to make sure that your first project is successful, and that's what we want to do to help you.
Okay, perfect. So I don't see any other questions coming in right now, but I guess we can give folks a couple extra minutes. And maybe in the meantime, we can just give you guys a preview of what we have coming up for other webinars. Like Phil said, there is a series for this, but for the rest of this month, we do have a Navisworks Manage next week on the 18th, which is Thursday. And then the following day, Friday, we do have Fusion 360 as well as AutoCAD Productivity in the same day. And for the last week of February, we have Revit Materials, which we're getting some requests on, to go over that and explain that a little more. And on the 26th, we have Bluebeam Review, which will go over scaling PDFs. So feel free to check out our website, microcad3d.com, go to the events page and register. And if you guys have any other topics you're interested in, please let us know. You can throw them in the chat or in this questions panel here. And we can certainly look into, doing a webinar on that topic. And we do have more to come. We're always planning new ones for March, so you can look out for those. We release them as they are all planned out. But for now, I think those are the questions. But if you guys have any more detailed questions, feel free to reach out and we can help answer that. And I will hand this back over to Phil so he can wrap it up.
So I just wanted to thank you for taking the time this afternoon to go over what these new products are. And certainly if you have any further questions, you can contact your local office or you can contact the headquarters office at the top of the screen. And we're here to help you. If you find yourself having difficulty, you should be contacting us and we'll do what we can to assist you, whether it's hand-holding, whether it's support, or whether it's training. We'll provide that help to make sure that you're successful. So thank you for your time today. We appreciate it, and keep an eye on www.microcad3d.com as we add more webinars and more information.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.